What is up, Funko Pop nerds, and welcome back to Carbonite Collecting, a branch of the Carbonite Convos podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we have a huge Funko Pop list for you guys. Now, this is part one of two parts. There are so many awesome concepts that can be made from this movie that we didn't want to put them all in one video, so we are stretching it across two videos, so be on the lookout for that next one. But if this is your first time joining us, you've just taken your first step into a larger world. And if this is not your first Funko list with us, then we can't thank you enough for coming back. And I'll tell you what, you chose a good one to come back for, because in light of everything going on, the hottest movie on the planet right now, and arguably one of the most highly anticipated movies of all time, with Spider-Man No Way Home, we figured it would be the perfect time to make a concept list from one of the best Spidey movies, if not the best Spidey movie in the history of the wall crawler. But before we get into it, I'm your host, Funko Stud, and you can check me out on Instagram and Twitter. And like always, I am joined by Mr. Wall Crawler Pops himself, Alec Porterfield. Alec, you ready to talk about Spidey?
Dude, I am ready to talk about Spidey. Anything involving Spider-Man and Funko Pops, I'm obviously going to be down to talk about, man. So I'm ready to get into his list. But as always, before we start, got to throw it out there, guys. If you like what you see here, make sure you smash that like button. Drop a comment in the comment section down below. Go ahead and hit that sub and that bell button while you're at it, guys. We greatly appreciate the support. Nick, why don't you go ahead and lead this list off, man?
All right, so this first one, it's a really cool one, and we actually have two. So we have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man Unmasked. One is made by J.B.I. Vart, which you can see on the screen here, and this next one is made by Funko_Concept. Both really awesome concepts of a really great character who finally has some redemption in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, absolutely. These would be must-buys for me. Next on the list, we have Happy wearing his CPAP machine in the movie. Obviously, it's a super funny scene when he's sleeping on the recliner. And this was done by Pop.Eyes.
Yes, sir. Next on the list, we have Tom Holland's Peter Parker, but he's battle damaged. And this is also made by J.B.I. Vart.
Next, we got Green Goblin, obviously the main protagonist of the movie, and this was done by Nathros Funkos.
I really like how this one has the hood, because the hood was really defined in this movie, so I like that it has that. Next, we have one of the coolest reveals in this movie. We had, what would you call him? Sorcerer Ned with Doctor Strange's cape, made by What Now Pops.
Yes, I still can't believe that happened. Absolutely wild. So next on the list, we have one of our scenes to the list. We have Doctor Strange pushing Peter's astral form out of his body. Obviously, like the scene, he was able to control himself with his spider sense. That was one of my personal favorite scenes in the movie. I would buy that in a heartbeat. And this was done by J.B.I. Vart.
All right, next we have yet another scene. Now, this is Doc Ock and Spider-Man. So this is the first time that Tom Holland's Peter Parker and Dr. Octopus are meeting. And this was made by two creators. It was at Pop.Eyes and at My.Spoptify. So they collabed to make this one together, and it is a dope scene.
Yes, extremely cool scene. They absolutely crushed it. Next up, we have a new look at the new version of Electro done by at Funko Concept Art. I would absolutely buy this, and I would say this for any pop on this list. They would be in my collection right now.
All right, next we have an updated Dr. Octopus. Now, we already have a scene with him, but we need a single pop with Doc Ock. This one is made by Pop.Eyes.
Yes, super dope pop. Obviously love Doc Ock in this movie. Next up, we have another absolutely infamous scene. All the Spider-Man fans were super pumped about this. We have Tobey Maguire's Peter coming through the portal for the first time. And that was also made by at Funko Concepts.
Yes, sir. And to round off this list, we have one of the newest iconic scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we actually had two of them made. It's of all three Spider-Man. So the first one, we have them on the statue. Now, this was another joint effort, a collab between J.B.I. Vart and Nathros Funkos. So they both put this one together, and it is awesome. And the second one, we have all three Spideys actually swinging. And this one was made by Funko_Concept. So both a really cool scene / 3-pack of one of the most iconic scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, Okay, so I will start it off. We have the opening scene of the movie with Peter swinging MJ. This is made by Callens_concepts, and this is their first pop that they've been able to make for us. So thank you for joining.
Yes, very cool pop. Number 2 on the list, we have an Aunt May. I cannot believe we don't have one of her up to this point, but this pop features her in an action pose, obviously shortly before her departure of this earth, but very cool pop and a very cool scene.
Yep, that one's made by Christie's Custom, also their first time making a pop for us, so thank you. Next on the list, we have a Norman Osborn. This one is designed after his look shortly after he breaks the Goblin helmet. This is made by Pop.Eyes, and we also have a chase version of him actually as the Goblin, but without the getup. So he has his crazy looking smile on the pop. So both made by Pop.Eyes, and some awesome concepts.
Yeah, no, I really like the feature of the smile. I think it adds a really creepy effect to it and really makes it look like Willem Dafoe. I think that's a cool pop. Number 4 on the list, I thought this one was very funny and very accurate to No Way Home. We have Ned's Lola, made by Pop.Seps. Really cool pop. Obviously, like, she might be some sort of magic. We don't know what her deal is, but really cool pop.
Definitely. And one of my favorites on the list, we have Doc Ock with Nanotech. This one was also made by Callens_concepts. And this is from the scene where he first gets Tony Stark or Peter Parker's nanotech from his suit and applies it to his octopus arms.
Yeah, really cool pop. Next on the list, we have Tom's new suit, which is being called the Parker suit. And this is made by Nathros Funkos.
Yes, sir. Awesome classic looking suit for sure. So an awesome custom. And obviously he's swinging through the air, which is really cool. So next on the list, we have a Science Peters 3-pack. This is when obviously they are all coming up with the formulas to defeat their respective villains, made by Pop-Up Seps. And it was truly an awesome scene and would be an awesome 3-pack as well.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely buy this in a heartbeat. Next on the list, we have Flash Thompson holding the book, claiming to be Spider-Man's best friend. Obviously, really funny part of the movie. This was made by Christie's.Custom. Again, really cool pop. I would love how it features the blonde hair. Really good job.
Yeah, definitely. And next on the list, we have a scene of Peter being pulled into Doctor Strange's portal, both in front of him and behind him, while he's holding the box that Doctor Strange conjured up. This is made by Pop-Up Seps, and definitely a cool custom.
For sure. And to wrap up the list, this is made by Pop.Eyes. We have the Spider-Man meme, which obviously is an insanely funny part of the movie and something we've wanted for a long time. We have the 3-pack of them all pointing at each other, featuring a chase with them all unmasked.
So the first one on the list, we have Doctor Strange with the box. Now, it's a very complex name, that this box, but we do have a Doctor Strange pop from the movie, but we need one of him dressed as a sorcerer and holding this box. So this is made by Callens_concepts.
Yeah, it's really cool pop again. Number 2 on the list, we have the man J. Jonah Jameson himself, otherwise known as Triple J. We need an updated version of him from No Way Home. This is done by Callens Concepts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Did 2 for this list. Next, we have an Eddie Brock from the post-credit scene. This is made by Christie's.Custom, and I like how we have his look where we can tell that he's drinking some margaritas. He has some drinks in him, and he's pretty drunk in the scene. So I really like this concept.
Yeah, man, I really love that post-credit scene. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to stick around the MCU very long, but, that's for another time. This next pop isn't technically a pop, but we thought this artwork was so cool that it would be considered for this list. We are calling this the ultimate scene, and this was actually made by Sabartis.Pop. You can check him out. This was so cool, and obviously, this was one of the biggest scenes in the movie, so I loved it.
Yep, we have all the villains squaring off against all the heroes. Now, we know Doctor Strange didn't really fight in this scene, but it was cool adding him to the art piece. Next, we have a 2-pack of Peter and MJ at the very end of the film. MJ is holding Peter's coffee. She has the Band-Aid, and this is made by Nathros Funkos. So this is an awesome concept of a really emotional scene.
Yeah, man, a really sad scene, and obviously Peter sitting there trying to make a critical life decision, so cool turning point of the movie. Next up on the list, another piece of art we thought should be mentioned on this list. We have the I Love You scene. So what is now to be known as the completely improvised scene in No Way Home with all 3 Spider-Man done by Andrew Garfield. Absolutely killed it. One of the best parts of the movie. This was also done by Subartist.Pop. A super cool artwork.
Definitely. And we're going to have more art pieces like this in the next video for sure in part 4. Next on the list, we have an updated Sandman made by @JBivart. And I think it was long overdue that we got another Sandman, because we do have one that looks very similar to the Raimi Sandman and a comic accurate. But this movie, he was all sand for almost the entirety of his scenes. So we needed one of him just as sand.
Yeah, and the sand was a little bit different looking in this movie than when he was previously in Spider-Man 3. So definitely need an update on him. Next up, we have Matt Murdock featuring a chase version of the Pop as well. And this was made by Pop-Up Customs.
Yes, and obviously the chase version is him catching the brick, which everybody thought was super surprising. So that was an awesome scene in the movie. Next,
he's a really good lawyer.
Yeah, yes, Happy needs one. Second to last on the list, we have Tom's Peter in his suit. Not his Spidey suit, but his formal suit right before he battles Doc Ock. This is made by Pop.Seps, and I think it's a really cool, out-of-the-ordinary Pop. I related a lot to the Pop from Homecoming where he's wearing the soccer jersey. So it's Peter, not necessarily a Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, I really like that one as well. There's one of him from Homecoming as well, just like in his school attire. So super
that
cool
shirt
Pop.
You're wearing.
This exact shirt I'm wearing, actually. So we definitely need one from this movie as well. And to wrap up the list, this is probably going to be, if these were real, this would definitely probably be the most popular on the list. In my personal opinion, we have Tobey's first appearance in No Way Home, where he walks through in just like his regular get up street clothes. And he walks in and obviously just blows the crowd away, knowing Tobey Maguire is back. So super cool Pop. This was made by Funko Concept Art, and a great way to wrap up this list. Number 1 on the list, we have Tobey and Andrew's exit from the MCU as we know it, made by JBivart, with Andrew giving the little peace sign heading out real quick.
Yeah, definitely a cool little 2-pack. Number 2 on the list, we have Peter in his formal suit. So this is right before his fight with Dr. Octopus. And we have a chase of his Iron Spider suit forming over the formal suit as he gets prepared for the upcoming conflict. And this one's made by Fun_Collect.
Yeah, man, that scene's super cool, and that
Definitely.
chase is a really cool idea for a chase. I love it. Number 3 on the list, and we got an updated version of the Lizard, and I like this one a lot just because it's way more movie accurate than the Lizard that they have currently made. And this one's made by Pop Draw YT.
Yes, sir. So number 4 on the list, we have an art piece. Now, we went into it a little on part 3 that these pieces, they're not actual Pops, but they are art pieces designed like Funko Pops. So this piece of art is a scene of Andrew catching MJ. Clearly an incredibly emotional scene and sort of redemption for Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker.
Yeah, man, that was one of my favorite parts of the movies. I love that moment. All right, number 5 on the list, we have a new look at Matt Murdock in a suit, being a straight up lawyer, not Daredevil at this time, just Matt Murdock. This is made by Funko_Concept_Art.
Yes, and we got a Matt Murdock Pop in the last list as well, but another creator wanted to make this one too, so we had to throw it in there. Next on the list, we have a singular Pop of Doctor Strange doing his spell. Now, I'm not sure how Funko, if they made it, would be able to do the little orange string, but I'm looking at my Pop wall right now, and they've managed to make some pretty cool effects. So I know they'd be able to figure it out, but this one is made by Pop.Up.Custom.
Yeah, man, I imagine they could probably make it out of the same stuff they use to make lightsabers potentially, but
True.
No, love that one. And that would definitely have to have some sort of glow or something involved in it somehow. That'd be so sick. Next up on the list, we have another art piece, and I think this was a turning point of the movie and one that really made the fans feel good. And this is when Tobey was saving Tom from himself. When we say that, we mean that Tobey saved Tom from making a terrible decision, and that was to unalive Green Goblin. Tobey saved him, ended up taking a blade in the back from it, but really cool part of the movie. And this was made by Sabartis.pop.
Yeah, definitely a lot of awesome art pieces. Next, we have another rendition of Spidey in his black and gold suit. Now, he does have the Doctor Strange energy coming out of his wrist where he can shoot the villains into their Doctor Strange magic cells. So definitely a pretty cool Pop. And this one is made by Funko_New.
Yeah, man, really cool pop. So the last true concept on this list, and this is Andrew with the green screen leak. And I love this because it's not technically from the movie, but it obviously is a scene in the movie. But this one is a little bit more comical. And if they were to make a pop of it, it would almost be a pop of a meme at this point. So I love the idea of it. I think it's hilarious. And this one was made by Funko Concept Art.
Yeah, and I think it's just such a legendary leak at this point because that was one that the fans could not agree on, and Andrew Garfield should win an Oscar. Being true. Exactly. Andrew should win an Oscar for his lie on that one. But rounding off this list, we have a final art piece, and this is arguably one of the most iconic scenes in the MCU at this point. We have all three Spider-Man swinging off of each other. So they're swinging on the Statue of Liberty, on the beams, holding it up, and they're also swinging off of each other's web. So this is an awesome piece, once again by Sabardis.pop, and I don't know if there are posters of this, but if there were, I would definitely buy one.
Number one on the list, we have a look at Doctor Strange floating. This is done by fun_collect.
Yes, sir. Nothing too flashy, just a nice single pop. I love it. Next, I know we've had one in the past, but we do have another updated Dr. Octopus. This is made by Callens_concepts, and it's really cool to see another rendition of one of the best villains in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3 on the list, another repeat. We've had this in one of our lists before, but we have a new artist's rendition of Toby and Andrew's exit from the MCU, where Andrew's throwing up the peace sign as they're evaporating into their respective universe. And this was done by Funko Concept Art.
Yes, sir. So next we have that same scene, except like we've done for past videos, this was made by Sabardis.pop, where he makes them more like an art piece. So they aren't Funko Pops themselves, but the characters in the art are designed after Funko Pops. So it's the same scene, but in a different form.
No, I love getting a different look. It's a whole scene, and it looks really cool, and it looks really well done. Moving on to the next pop, we have an ultimate moment of redemption for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. We have Andrew catching MJ, and this was done by Pop Eyes. Absolutely crushed. One of the best scenes of the entire movie, in my personal opinion, and this would be a must-have.
Yes, sir. And there is a chase version that Popeye's made, but that will be in a future video, so make sure to come back for that one when eventually we do a list from The Amazing Spider-Man. Next on the list, we have another updated Electro made by Callens_concepts. It's been really cool to see the evolution from his blue character to the classic yet updated character we have now. So definitely a really cool concept.
Yes, absolutely. Next up, this is actually more of a Venom 2 pop, more so than a Far From Home pop, but we thought it would fit in this list respectively. So we have Venom holding the screen in which Peter Parker's identity was revealed to the multiverse, and Venom has this look to him like he's crossing dimension, like a pink, purple, hazy look over him that is really cool and shows him crossing over into the MCU. And this was done by Funko_new.
Yeah, definitely one we had to include. So Funko dropped a new product of comic covers that are accompanied by a pop. So this one isn't a comic cover, but it is a movie poster. It's the Spider-Man No Way Home poster accompanied by Peter Parker's Spider-Man in his Iron Spider suit holding one of the pumpkin bombs from Green Goblin. This was made by Callens_concepts again, and definitely something cool to go along with a new Funko product.
Yeah, no, I really like what Funko's doing with that. I don't see why they wouldn't do movie posters going forward. I think that's a huge opportunity for them. So who knows? Maybe we'll get it. Next up, we have a scene, and this is Doctor Strange pushing Peter's astral form out of his body. We ultimately in the movie find out he was able to control himself with his Spidey sense. So really cool scene. But this concept art was done by Funko_new.
Yes, sir. And we did have another scene exactly like that in part 1. So make sure to check out part 1 as well. But awesome to see another rendition. And to round off the Spider-Man No Way Home concept Funko list, we have a concept Marvel Collector Core box. So we have a Green Goblin shirt, a Spider-Man pin, a sticker of all 3 Spider-Men, and accompanying all those, we have 2 pops. We have Peter Parker in his Iron Spider suit, and also an unmasked Green Goblin with the Goblin mask smashed next to it. So pretty cool, something different. We had a lot of different things on this list, being a lot of different products from Funko other than just Soul Pop. Pops. So once again, guys, we can't thank you enough for joining us on this 5-part series. Make sure to comment if there were any that stuck out to you, either in this video or in past videos, and even comment if you have any ideas as well, because we still are in contact with the creators, and this series is not stopping here. We are doing a bunch of lists from a lot of Marvel and Star Wars movies, so this isn't something that's going to be finishing up now. This is something that has become one of our favorite segments, so this is not going anywhere. So make sure to send them your way, and maybe a few months down the line, if we have enough to make a part 6, we can do that. Thank you once again, and until next time, with great power
comes great responsibility.